we are forced to consume all this information because we are in a strategic planning session. And when you are in a strategic planning session, you need all sources of information so that you are able to incorporate some of this content as and when you go to your commissions, so that at the end of the day, you are able to respond to what is needed in terms of our strategic plan for 2025, 2026. And having said that, Chairperson, I want to start by commenting on the presentation by Gordon Institute. I don't know if they are still here. The presenter made a hypothesis, a serious hypothesis, that says that if you get your fiscal and monetary policy right as a country, you are likely to solve the question of economic growth and economic development. But I wanted to check, because since last year, South Africa has been able to manage these two variables effectively, the monetary policy and the fiscal policy. I'll make an example. The prime lending rate now in South Africa, as we speak, it's standing at 10.50%. This is the lowest it has been. And if you look at the consumer price index, which is your inflation, is at around 3.3%, and we know that the target is that the Reserve Bank target says that it must be between 3% and 6%. So I wanted to check this hypothesis, whether there's a correlation between what the presenter says and the actual performance of the economy of South Africa and the Northwest Province in particular. Because despite these two variables being lower, we are unable to deal with the question of unemployment. It is stubbornly high. And like they correctly said, that the Northwest Province is at around more than 50% if we use the expanded definition of unemployment. So I wanted him to actually clarify that anomaly, because that hypothesis for me doesn't make sense. The second point that I want to deal with is the point that was raised by the Office of the Premier and the Auditor General, where they have actually isolated M&E as a very important directorate in the department, and correctly so. They indicated that this directorate does not have a director, and as a result, it impacts directly on the ability of the department being able to conduct effective monitoring and evaluation. And I want to say to them that the department is at a stage whereby we are now headhunting for the director responsible for monitoring and evaluation. The post was advertised, but we could not get a suitable candidate. So as we speak, we are in the final phase of headhunting for this particular position. My last point, Chairperson, it relates to what was said by the presentation from the Office of the Premier, where they said that the PGDS, the Provincial Growth and Development Strategy, it is going to have an implementation plan. It was my wish that the implementation plan of the PGDS was presented, so that we know what is it that is expected of us as DEDECT. Because the PGDS, it covers the entire province. And it is just unfortunate that it was not presented. Maybe if it was presented before Stats SA give us the statistics in terms of unemployment and so on, we would have a sense of what is it that is expected of us as a department. And finally, as I close, I just want to once more congratulate the Northwest Gambling Board for receiving a clean audit. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. I think you can engage with the departments directly, or we'll arrange those discussions later on to save some time. Is there any other comments?
No, thanks. Okay. No, thanks, Program Director. The first comment, it will not basically be a comment, but a plea to State SA. Because every time when State SA is requested to make a presentation on a specific subject in the province, they give us what you can easily go into the website and find it. And I think the planners of this session were deliberate when they put those specific subtopics to give us information around them, and they didn't really give us that information there. So I want to plead with them, if they are here, to say, at some point, don't give us something that is generic. Give us something that is specific to the province so that it can be able to help us to deal with it. My second comment, Chair, is that I'm looking at the banner there, and I'm looking at NDP 2030. And I look at the calendar, I'm counting 5 years to 2030. In the Northwest, we are still struggling with coming up with an implementation plan of the PGDS. The question is, are we going to arrive at 2030 without achieving the targets that were set by the National Development Plan, when in 2025, we are still struggling with the implementation plan of the PGDS? At this point, we should have been reviewing what we have achieved since the adoption of the NDP and the PGDS at that time, and maybe coming up with intervention mechanism on what we have not been able to do over the period of the NDP. The last point is that more often when we convene sessions and activities when we want to talk about economic transformation, we always ignore the role that is being played by the multilateral institution, in particular the ones that are operating in the economic space. The role that is played by the International Monetary Fund, the World Trade Organization, including the agreements that have been signed, either pre and post apartheid, that are there, and how do they impact on the economy of the country, the economy of the Northwest Province. I'll give you an example. Was it last year or year before last? Namibia, Zimbabwe, Zambia. They made a pronouncement to say there's nobody or no company that's gonna take lithium from their countries without beneficiating it in those 3 countries that I talked about. The first institution to go for them was the WTO, and reminding them on how they are violating the agreements that they have signed in there. So there are many agreements that are signed, the general agreements on trade and tariffs and many other things, including what we have signed on the minimum beneficiation and the maximum export that we are dealing with. And the other point that I would say is that we very little talk about the issue of climate change and participating in the green energy or the green economy as the Northwest Province. Maybe in the next session we must have a discussion, a thoroughgoing discussion there. In one session where the Minister of Electricity was there, was talking about how Northwest has become a priority province when it comes to this thing of the IPP windows that would be coming in there. And we don't find ourselves exploiting that space to play on the IPP and becoming a province that has got registered independent producers or establish an SOE that can play in the energy space and provide, resolve the issues of energy and load shedding. Thanks.
No, I think the submission Ntate Matebesi on PGDS. I think as a province we must rise and agree that PGDS is not an asset or an item that resides in the Premier's office. But it is a way of driving the strategies that seeks to make the province get aligned such that we are able to be par in terms of issues of economic growth. So in this case, the understanding that I have is that we have robust engagements when this matter was presented to EXCO. And this department in its strategic planning has got a position that says we are going to review the strategies that exist that seeks to enable government. It is only this department that deals with economic affairs. And therefore, all the operations that are existing draw comfort from the strategies that are drawn by this department. So, negereke banganye issue na ya hore, we can't be coming to the next phase of planning in the administration and we are still being told that there is an implementation plan. I'm the one who raised the hand in the EXCO and says, now that you are presenting it, ile bloto hela ya, put the implementation plan that goes with phases. That will enable each and every department, be it the Babanale strategies, agriculture, Babanale within this PGDS, then they will be able to align as they deal with their plans. So this is late. In the strategic planning of a department, we can't be told that there's still gonna be an implementation plan when we are now on this phase of planning. So what we need to do as a department is to actually focus on the strategies that seeks to unlock the economy for the province, which will then, I will cite an example. Hone Yanako, Office of the Premier, they have just presented what they call digital transformation, which has got on its own digitalization strategy that actually had to be embedded in each and every existing strategy in the PGDS. What they are still putting into place is already rendering the existing strategies to be outdated because they are not aligned in terms of digitalization. So I'm just raising this to say let's move with speed so that we must not have a situation where our operations are making the plans of government to get delayed because we might end up being irrelevant in whatever that we are putting up. The time you bring it to us, we would have already reviewed all the strategies that seeks to talk to and address economy because we are already late. We also have the Statistics South Africa. I am also noting, which I think Mawila, Beni, we have also noted it that Statistics South Africa is very clear to say the job creation that they count on, Kesabo ShopRite, Relebohile, the big operations, which then says with the little that we are doing, we are not aligned and they are not counting on us, and that is why even if we push so hard as the department that has got a will to do job creation, they are not counting on us. But I'm happy that they are also acknowledging that, but it depends on how we as a department now is going to strengthen the collaboration that we will have at this level of the province. Everything that never existed started somewhere. So there's nothing wrong for us as a province to start to push. And I think the communication must also be wide awake. I'm happy that you are working with the university. We must now start to come up with opinion pieces that seeks to locate us as a province. Now we don't have big factories, we don't have those big shops because we are dominated by rural areas. However, there are small operations that has got in their pockets job creating activities, but they are not counted and will forever be, I mean, reonali di khomu tse 5 wa rekisa udira income, but they are not counted because they are not ShopRite, they are not these big operations. So I think it's something that we need to get closer. Kerole listed SA They must take us through, not here, I agree. But we need to get the strategy, and then the MEC must start to write through communications, the opinion pieces. That says we are agreeing as a province that the economy does not only rely on 1, 2, 3 in terms of what becomes the source of what is communicated, but this is what we have as a province. So that at least we are also having our view in the space. We will not deny nor ignore the fact that we are exposed in terms of job creation and the stats that are there, but our opinion will expose the other side of us as a province. Lastly is on the tourism presentation. I would have loved to have listened to the presentation of the DFFE. You know, gone are those days that we will rely on the top to bottom approach of things. Whatever strategy that exists, if it starts from the national, then we must, as well as a chief directorate in the department, create our own strategy that draws comfort from the bigger existing strategy, but seeks to address the context of our operation as a province, so that it becomes easier to make it relevant and not vague. Because how we berekisa ile broad fella from national, at times it counts our people out but when it is operationalized in the context of the province where we have our provincial strategy, it works easier. Like the DFFE will always call for the submissions by provinces and then they come up with their main strategy. So in this case, it then says we are due as a province to come up with a strategy that talks to the Northwest as a province and its people. Or if that is not the case, Rahogare County or Relebohile ba eleng gore rona re etela re a diphitlhong, like the statistics are saying. Re a dishopong, re a diphitlhong. There's nothing that talks about us in terms of tourism. But we intensify social tourism. There's a lot that we are doing as a province and a rural province. Lastly is on the, I think I'm covered by Debsa. I just also wanted the Premier's office maybe to take us through, because Mavis and partner, they are going to fight with us. When we want to report on the progress that we are making as a province, we are also being bottlenecked by the manner in which MNE want us to structure as we do reporting. So it's important for MNE also to tell us how best we can also work together in terms of the new initiatives and innovations that we bring along, because the systems of 1912 are no longer working. Our people are hungry and we become innovative and we bring new systems that, when evaluated and monitored, must remain relevant for today. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, delegates. I think our next presenters are from the LED department to present to us. Sorry. It's your HDMI.
presentation. Oh, slideshow. Slideshow. Sekaya. Hey, presenting after lunch. But I promise it's the shortest presentation because we were asked to, as districts, municipalities or in the local government, we were requested only or asked to present our plans for 2026, 2025, 2026, as well as our challenges. With that note, let me take this opportunity to say good afternoon, MEC, the HOD in absentia, but I think he'll join us, as well as my colleagues. Before I get to my presentation, I want to take you through to, or let me say, share the overview of where I'm coming from. My name is Agnes Moheta. I'm from the Dr. Ruth Mompati District Municipality. Ke tswa ko Bophirima jo bo kgakala. And what we have in that district, gantsi ke tle ke re, we are very rich, well-resourced in natural resources, yet we are poor. Our strength in our district is agriculture. We are known as the Texas of South Africa. We are known as the beef basket of the country. Do we have byproducts? Do we? We are a home to the renowned Down child skull, where humankind began. We are also the world stage of the annual angling championship. Our Kagisano Molopo was once positioned, or should I say is positioned, as the hunting destination, in particular, trophy hunting. Do we have our brothers, our sisters, our young people in this wildlife industry? I can work economic development. We are expecting gore be le mo mabogong a rona. Did we manage to penetrate this lucrative industry, the wildlife industry? Braish, repositioning this Kagisano Molopo as a hunting destination, and it needs to be resuscitated. I call upon specifically the Northwest Parks and Tourism Board to come on board and support this initiative. You know, this Dr. Ruth Mmabatho, 3 national routes run across the district. MEC, the N12, Treasure Route, the N18, Heritage Route, as well as the N14. Do we capture our travelers? Do we capture our tourist guests? Are we? But working together, we will make it. With that ado, let me now get into my short presentation from the EDTA, which is the Economic Development, Tourism and Agriculture, the department within the Dr. Ruth Mmabatho District Municipality, headed by myself. Hey, born before technology. Should I do it?
Just press on this.
Okay, that's all. Yeah, my presentation will involve or include the purpose of today, the introduction, our plan, as well as the challenges. The purpose is to provide a synoptic version of our department or the EDTA department's project and programs for 2025-2026 financial year. And also is to foster and enhance joint planning process between the local municipalities, our 5 local municipalities, the district, as well as our relevant stakeholders. We need, as the HOD emphasized this morning in his opening speech, to collaborate, to work together. So the need for common coordination through the district development model, the DDM, and use of limited resources amongst relevant stakeholders, as I indicated, in the district is more than ever critical. Working together is key. Through continued coordination and support towards promoting agriculture production, both for crop and cattle farming purposes, we shall be ensuring that agricultural produce serve as a base for eventual agro-processing activities and agritourism in the district in collaboration with DART as well as DEDECT and other relevant stakeholders. Our plan for this year, for the financial year 2025 and 2026, we are focusing, amongst others, we have identified catalytic, our big bang projects. For this financial year, we are going to upgrade the agri-park. This feedlot is not only going to benefit the commercial farmers, but it is also going to benefit our small-scale farmers. MEC and colleagues, our commercial farmers, gantsi ba na le bokgoni. And then our small-scale farmers, they are all, most of the time are left behind. As I said earlier, we are the Texas of South Africa, where beef inhabitants outnumbers the population of the district. You'll agree with me, in all 4 entrances, in all 4 entrances, when you get into our district, lantla o dumediswa ke kgomo akere. Before bona motho akere bona kgomo. So, this feedlot, as I said, will benefit both the commercial or established as well as the small-scale farmers. MEC, re tle ra ba le visits from China. I was like surprised for my China ba batla beef. And then we came up with this agri-park establishment, our intention to establish this agri-park. The commercial farmers will be having farmer A ko Taung, ana le kgomo tse 20. Farmer B ko Kagisana Molopo, ana le kgomo tse 50. Or le ko other local municipalities. So our intention as the district, as well as the Department of Agriculture, re bone gore re kopantshe ditlhogo, we must upgrade Armoedvlakte. It's a feedlot. Mo e leng gore we'll be taking these small farmers, small-scale farmers, re tse dikgomo tsa bone, re di ise kwa. Mara go tla bo go na le controller akere. Re di ise kwa, re di feede. Ha go nna le nako ya gore we must export, they must also benefit out of that facility or out of this program. We will be also focusing on food extrusion, agro-processing again. Crop farming in our district. We'll also concentrate on that one. And then Renale Happy Jinkwaning Heritage Site is underdeveloped. But thank you, MEC, Departmental DEDECT, the HOD, Mesa Ramanone, Me Lerato Marakalla. Barry led a feasibility study, they facilitated that, and that was done by the University of Pretoria. So Rona, as a district, we have the feasibility report, and then follow up to that, we'll be facilitating or developing the business plan, the bankable business plan, because it's one of our major project, investment. It calls for investment. We are also going to with the little funds that we have identified a cooperative, Ko Morokweng, where we'll be assisting and supporting them with establishing a leisure resort as an additional entertainment facility in our district. We are also going to help Naledi municipality with the upgrade of Swartfontein Recreational Resort. And then the other one here, Swartfontein Showground, where together with the Department of Agriculture, Naledi local municipality, we have upgraded the showground. We managed to host a successful provincial agricultural show. Our focus is also on SMMEs. You know, Nakibana, the SMME, ile the vehicle of our economy, the driver of our economy, the job creators. And I normally try to explain why I'm saying that. Like for instance, in one guest house, small as it is, but it can employ, it has the capacity to employ at least 3 to 5 permanent jobs. And it means there is bread on the table for 5 families. So as a district, we support our SMMEs. We have an LED grant policy, but the support is little. We support both informal as well as formal businesses. But informal businesses, we encourage them to register and we help them, we assist them through taking into consideration our relationship with stakeholders like BUSIDA, NWDA. And let me take this time to really share with you, Hore, but our youth in tourism, very functional, is doing well, and Mofokane is the 3rd functional youth in tourism in the country. The first one, Eko Western Cape. The second one, Keko Chwane, youth in tourism. And the third one, Ke ya Dr. Ruth Mompati, youth in tourism. We really need to applaud them. We have tried very hard to get the young people to participate in the mainstream economy. When we started this a forum or association, young people in the tourism industry, Nehosena Mosha or partaking in the commercial world. But now proudly I'm saying we have a functional youth in tourism. We also have the agricultural forum, as well as the district forum. It's young all the businesses. Hariba tusi fela ka your implements, your equipments, your machineries, but we also help them ka market access, taking them to exhibitions. As I speak with you now, Renale Basha Baba dirang coffee ya motlopi. This indigenous coffee, lo ayitsi akere. Bangwe bangena ba ayitsi. Through our support, very soon, lo tla bona that coffee mo di shelving. We ensure implementation of high-impact projects aimed at attracting investment to the region in order to create more sustainable jobs. We do have pockets of opportunities that calls for interested investors. Ongoing sourcing of required additional financial and non-financial resources for some of the prioritized long-term projects to effect successful implementation and sustainability. In addition to our catalytic or big bang projects, we have our Vryburg Aerodrome, Tumeng, Ribitsa Small Haven, dam development which include Wenzel Dam, Taung Dam, Spitskop Dam, as well as the Bloemhof Dam, and the renewable energy. Our challenges, high concentration of small projects versus high impact initiatives. High mortality rate of SMMEs, but we are working on that as a district together with our local municipalities. Communication gap between the province, the district, and the local municipality due to poor lack of proper coordination, synergy. Bylaws done by the local municipalities, there's no proper lease agreement between the local municipalities and emerging farmers, but we are working on that. Continued to our challenges, obviously lack of funds, climate change as an agricultural area affects us, foot and mouth disease, underdeveloped attractions, aging infrastructure, isolation of iconic attractions. In our district, we do have attractions, but they are far apart. How Ojuako Bloom of them as an attraction, you would travel a long way to Molopo Game Reserve. But lega go na le di activities along the routes, because at least we have developed a Taung heritage route. E leng gore e benefit all the products, small and big. And silo planning, we have a functional economic through the DDM program. We have that mainstream, and then we are working on the planning. Remember, Rona, as a district or as local government, our financial year ke July. I mean, start July, and then the province and national kika, your financial year start April. So we are working on that. No, if you have a project or projects go provincing, we are working together for July, and then even if lo startile, but we are aware of that project. Re tlo go bereka rotlhe ko projecting eo. Ke yone silo planning, but we are working on that. The proposed way forward ke gore we must enhance the district IGR process to improve coordination, communication, and alignment programs. Remember, DDM is like an ignition, ignite the IGR. Introduce impact assessment tools and monitoring mechanism, job creation, tracking of created job opportunities across economic sectors. Investors attraction for identified high impact project investment opportunities as identified by each local municipality. Source funds and support initiatives. In conclusion, let me say that together, let us unearth the full potential of our Northwest Province as 4 districts, and through dedicated rural development, elevate our province to the next level of inclusive growth and prosperity. I thank you all.
Delegates, as you can see, we really pushed for time. We still got to go into the prelim. We've got 2 more speakers or presenters, and I was given an indication to allocate only 5 minutes each. So we've got the Department for Fishery and Forestry, and we've got the NEF. Could we have the delegates from the Fishery, Katro?
I would like to greet everyone. I would like to greet MEC and the acting HOD. And it's not acting HOD. I'm very sorry. I just received a signed off report with saying that it's acting HOD. So I was wondering if they're still acting. So I'm glad that the acting role has surpassed, and I would like to apologize for that, HOD. Thank you, thank you. My name is Arthur Lishaba from Department of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment, and I would like to appreciate the invite by Northwest DEDECT for inviting us as our sector that we do concurrent function with at the provincial department for all the 9 provinces, and DEDECT is part of us as we do that as HOD and MEC. On Friday, on the 3rd, they were at MEC to check in terms of the progress that we have done for Q1 for 2025-26 financial year. I'm just going to go through quickly for the sake of time. It's a very long presentation, I must say, but the purpose is that the presentation should be used. We'll leave that with Ms. Tarina Boshoff and also with planning so that Mavis Nels, so that they can use it within the program for environment. I'm not going to go through the presentation outline as I'll be going through the slides. In terms of the purpose is to note the environment sector commitments of the 2024-2029 MTDP and the 2024-2029 sector plan priorities. This is what we get from, it's not reflecting. Could we ask the team to assist us?
Are you guys there? Do you have it on a flash drive?
On the flash drive,
Yeah.
I think
They can,
Mavis has called it.
because I can't see your mouse here.
Is it okay?
I'm battling here because I can't see the mouse.
Oh, the mouse is not visible.
Yeah. No, you got it on the flash drive.
It's not showing the mouse now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one. Yeah.
That's also fine.
No, it's not showing on the screen.
We need the mouse. We need somebody to press the mouse quickly.
Just you got a mouse.
Yeah.
Okay, it's got a mouse. So I can't.
Yeah, it's his laptop. Windows B is not working. No, the mouse is not working. The mouse. You see. So it's
You don't have a flash drive, you can take it and put it on.
put it in the screens. No, it's not. I've tried. Yeah, I've tried. Yeah, it should. Okay, it should. It should click. Yeah, extend. It's duplicate now. Yes. There's the enter. Yes. The problem is the mouse. Yeah. Great. Apologies for not the presentation for not showing on the screen. Let's go. Sorry, it's not the right one. In terms of the introduction, we highlight the 2024-29 MTDP approved by Cabinet, which was in February 2025, as the third phase for the implementation of the NDP Vision 2030. I heard earlier on they were talking about the NDP, and it serves as a framework that support the goals of the NDP Vision 2030 and your MTDP in terms of that 5-year period that would be implemented as from the first. Already we have the progress for Q1, which was starting from April 2025. In terms of Chapter 5 of NDP, that focuses in terms of the sector of the environment, which is looking at sustainable development in terms of reducing the low carbon economy, so that we have a low carbon economy. We look in terms of Chapter 5 in terms of responding to NDP for the low carbon economy and the environmental sustainability. So in terms of any development that we do, we need to look in terms of all the plans that are responding to Chapter 5 for the country to realize in terms of environmental sustainability. The 2024-29 5-year sector plan approved by MEC, which was in April this financial year, that comprised of the MTDP indicators and your standardized indicators. Already the province is implementing that at the environment program and other prioritized sector indicators. The sector is aligned to the sector partner contributions. That would be your public entities. I had earlier on also NWPTB is also contributing in terms of that department itself, national public entities, and your we just indicate to say that DPME oversees all that, what national and provincial planning systems, and the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment is the one that would lead on the implementation of the environment sector. So we've got also supporting national departments and that are also on the sector plan. I'm not going to go through all this. I think you know about this overview of the national planning system, and that we need to bring together in terms of the NDP Vision 2030 and Africa Agenda 2063. That is important, and your Sustainable Development Goals 2030 to mutually reinforce the agenda to support sustainable development, as I indicated, that whatever development, we need to take cognizance of all those aspects to promote environmental objectives. Alignment of the continental and international targets of National Development Plan in terms of the AU, that's a repetition. Alignment of the big 6 priorities of the other strategic priorities that come from the national department, filtering into the provincial and national contributions plans that we need to see and implement, to monitor and report on. Summary of the environment sector plan targets. There you would see that we're responding to the strategic priorities that we had after the statement of intent by the by your government of national unity, and you see there we've got 3. And we have divided them in terms of the sector MTDP targets and your standardized indicators, other sector indicator targets, sector plans within the 5-year target plan, where we've got 4 sector MTDP targets responding to the strategic priority 1 that drives inclusive growth and job creation, as the previous speaker or presenter has alluded to. It's responding to that strategic priority. Standardized indicators 7, other indicators, there are 9, and sector plan 5-year target looking at 20, responding to sector priority 2 to reduce poverty and tackle the high cost of living. There we do not have any in terms of the sector MTDP targets and the standardized indicators, though we do align in terms of the sector indicators on the environmental quality management. So I'm just going to show what we have in the sector MTDP targets. There we have your outcomes, your outcome indicator, the interventions that we want to use so that we see in terms of the result framework that we want to see, to making sure that whatever we implement, there's impact on the ground. So those are our interventions in terms of the work opportunities created through expanded public programs. Those DPMW, PW will be the supporting department in terms of this work. So we are a lead as in environment sector. The number of small enterprise supported financially, there we're looking at the 15 small scale fishing cooperatives supported and the 20 core management structures established and your 5 approved benefiting sharing agreements that we have. I'm going to go past this slides, and then what we need to look at as we do our plans for the 26-27 Circular 1 of 2025 in terms of preparation of the 2026 APPs by the institutions. Our provincial institution must consider the following key factors during the development of the 2026 APPs. We need to look in terms of the MTDP 2024-29, that will include the supporting result framework. We need to understand the activities that we have, that we implement as you know, the theory of change would respond in terms of us understanding what we implement in terms of the activities that we have. Priorities relating to women, youth, and persons with disabilities. Initiatives which contribute to the expansion of employment, particularly youth employment. Implementation of initiatives outlined in the Just Transition Framework for the country. Institution contributing to the DDM ensures that planned catalytic interventions are geospatially referenced as per the geospatial referencing guidelines issued by DPME. Provincial departments within different sectors, which we do have national, concurrent functions with national, and the standardized indicators must ensure the inclusion of agreed standardized outputs and indicators in their plans. And I'm glad that to say that we're able to submit as environment sector, that all 9 provinces have submitted the sign-off reports by the HODs, so that we have the 5-year standardized indicators going forward so that we implement. So together with the TIC, and I would like to thank HOD for the signature to support us in terms of the sector standardizing. This is what we have. I'm not going to dwell much into this. This is the indicators that we have under Program 2. Tarina Boshoff is the one that is responsible for implementing that work. Intergovernmental sector programs, as I indicated, that we respond to the to building up a capable state, an ethical and developmental state. As you see there, we've got number of climate change response interventions implemented. And I'm going to go past this. Some of you, as I indicated, that's its document. You'll be using this document for reference. Now, this part is in terms of the 24 commitments for the environment sector plan, which the provinces, they are also contributing to that plan, which we are actually responding to the MTDP. So some of the indicators that we have on the sector plan, they are on the MTDP. So we've got the work that is being done by Working Group 1, which we do have concurrent functions with the province in terms of biodiversity, looking there at your number of biodiversity economy initiatives implemented, as Med did indicate, to say we need those kind of initiatives to reflect within the APPs, or as we plan going in the outer years of the 5 years that we are currently having. I'm going to pass this to go past, in terms of the work that is done by Working Group 3, I'm just looking at environmental awareness activities conducted. Do we really understand this work? Because some would say this is activity indicator. What we want to see on the ground. Does it work for us as we keep on going to communities to say environmental, to give them the activities that we have planned within our APPs? Working Group 4, in terms of the compliance that we have, I've seen as I was going past Zerust, I've seen, I think, a landfill side there. I could see the papers, they were going outside of, or the waste going out, solid waste going out of the yard of the landfill side. So I was just saying that I need to share with you that, can we look at that, because the AG has gone throughout provinces, and there is a report that had gone, I think they did share that with Mintec, to say that we need to check in terms of our landfill sites because there's non-compliance in terms of the waste license, management licenses that we have. So that is important that we need to check in terms of that, so that we protect our natural resources, as Medit indicate. We need to. So I'm going to go past this. They'll be using this so that you can reference. This is what you respond to, that we report, and that is taken to Mintec and MinMEC every quarter. Climate change, that is very important. We have compliance with national GHG emission targets, ranges that they keep on checking. At the end of the year, in terms of how they do it, they take from the industry the numbers so that they can see if we are going down or we are improving. That's all. Northwest DEDECT, our beloved province that we always wish to come here, and I must say that we were welcomed by a nice surprise that we got a tire puncher, but anyway, we could have presented before this time. But yeah, it was just saying we are home. And thank you very much. Thank you.
Can we get the NEF delegates to present? And then we've got one online for a few minutes, and then we'll be handing over for the breakaways.
Thobela dumelang ausheni molweni demasiari medag alles. I've got too much pressure. I don't know whether they put us at the last so the first ones must first bring their plans, and then we see how we dish out. And I get to maybe there's two meanings to that. But anyway, my name is Sebopilus. I work for the National Empowerment Fund. Basically, what I can say is that for you to realize economic transformation, you need the National Empowerment Fund. Empowerment and transformation, same WhatsApp group. Because if you look at it, we're established by the National Empowerment Act of 1998. Oh, yeah, left us the click. Oh, sorry. Oh, is it? Oh, is it the extension of the screen? Oh, okay. Okay. Duplicate. It's like it's frozen. Oh, it's touched this one. It's yeah, it's a touch screen. It's a touch screen. Duplicate. Yeah. Okay. Hey, dear Freezer, Rotusha Gauri, this thing's getting touch screen. So get home, Manabel. So we are established by the Act of 1998. If you look at it, the economy was only restricted to the very few people who were of a certain color. And after apartheid, then there was a need of a particular agent that can provide some, especially funding, because there's a BE Act which opens opportunities to business in terms of opportunities, but then for you to realize opportunities, you need funding. You can't do anything osnachelete. I know land, it's an emotional debate, but if you if you've got money, you can buy land. As I indicated, if you look at the two, the BE and all this, they come together to ensure that the previous disadvantaged group have got access and meaningful opportunity to interact with the economy, meaningfully so. And that was a strategic approach by the government, and even the GNU supports this very well. But unfortunately, the NEF was only established with 2.4 billion rand, and it doesn't have a budget vote. And if you don't have a budget vote, it means you can't exercise a certain investments. So you need collaborations with various institutions, and you'll see as we proceed and talk about some of the established relationships that we've done, raising about 8 billion, which has assisted us to invest about 15 billion since establishment, and supporting about 1,800 enterprises or small to medium enterprises. We've actually developed some big businesses that have become almost corporate. If you look, for example, we also had shares into MTN, but those shares were liquidated so that we unlock some of the capital to on lend onto the economy. For example, you look at your Busa Med, it's something that was actually assisted with the NEF to start entering that health sector. So this is the areas of our investments. We're passionate about creating big players in the economy. We don't want we don't want to just create a piecemeal businesses, but we want to make a meaningful impact, as I've indicated, with the likes of your Busamed and other bigger businesses. Township and rural economy, especially Northwest, is part of that. We had the fund, we continuously raise funds to assist businesses in provinces like Northwest, Limpopo, Free State, and the Eastern Cape. And these sectors, if you look at them, they've got a high employment creation appetite. If agriculture, my sister was talking with regards to Magamodir Mulima, and it's one of the sector that needs to be the potential has to be maximized. Tourism, we have a good relationship with National Department of Tourism. I can say they are our blesser when it comes to assisting us or helping us reach our objective in a way of supporting the businesses in tourism, because there's a grant of up to 5 million there. And I'll mention some of the projects that you would know that we have supported. So this is a sort of high-level picture of some of the businesses that were supported. In the Northwest Province, if you know Khabo Safari, if you like game driving, you can go there and we'll finance them. There's also people in the tourism, the shuttles, such as your Tautuna. So this is our funds have been organized. We've got about 5 funds. We specifically have the Women Economic Fund, because if you look, transformation empowered males, and it left behind mostly females, youth, and people with disabilities. So We've got a strategic fund that we've established, which we inject funds and also get ESD funds and other funds from various departments. However, we've got strategic funds, umnotho, imbewu. It depends on what you're needing for your business. So this is a high-level support that we have pre-investment when you want to apply, and then third party is when we form strategic relationship to raise funds for blended funding. Post-investment support, it's when we have invested and then we are assisting you with running the business. Turnaround is when things go wrong and we assist you. So this is a strategy of the NEF going forward that we have come about. So we've got 6 programs. I think what they were talking about as an example is an aggregator model. We're very passionate about it because you can pull quite a number of businesses and support them and ensure that you multiply the impact in that particular area. So, but the other ones is recycling. They were talking about renewables. It's an economy that we are passionate about supporting. There are some young guys who are applying and we're engaging them, try and see how we help them. These are some of the aggregate models that we have structured and have established. For example, the Spaza Shop Fund is what's running. We're about 350 million there that we need to support. However, the challenge is the business license or regulatory requirements which needs to be resolved in order for us to inject a lot of capital there. BB is somewhere in the Free State. So there what we have done is that we've developed a big aggregator. It was a small supermarket, now it's like a wholesaler. And he is sort of doing franchising, small tech shop franchising. And Kosiame will finance some business in Limpopo. Those who are from Limpopo would know Kosiame. What we've done is there, we've integrated some farmers there using our Royal Fund. We gave them grant to those small, about 65 of them, small farmers. So what's our measurement? We are measured, as I indicated, but I'll focus on job creation and growth sectors, which is those agriculture and the likes. Investment on return for us comes in a little bit last because remember, we're DFI, we have to take a little bit more risk. However, it has to be somewhat calculated. Because the capital is limited unless if we form strategic partnerships where we can, what you call in finance, reduce gearing. So when you've got a blended funding, you reduce gearing there, maybe 30–40%, and it has made quite a lot of businesses to succeed over time. Okay, we're not coming free. So this is our investment budget for this year. We're planning to invest about 1.5 billion rands, and out of that, about 50% want to invest in businesses that are controlled by females, youth, and people with disabilities. And we also have an investment budget for people operating in industrial areas, which is about 325 million or 25% of that. So in terms of a partnership, I think we've got a good story to tell. We've formed over 25 partnerships over the 20 years of our existence, raising about 28 billion, as I indicated. So, and I think, let me again, we've got clean audits, maybe it's for all these years, we've had clean audits for the 18 years. And but what's good is that the NEF was run by a female. And that woman is the one that set it up and put all the controls. And that is Mrs. Mtetwa, Ms. Pilisiwe Mtetwa. So you can see females. So Mmabatho Bitsa Lenkopane waitla emisilia na unyaka change deal. And we believe things are gonna change in the province. That's why we're also focusing on females. Females, whenever the economy is in their hands, you know that they're gonna make a meaningful impact. They are trustworthy. We know trends are changing, but females mostly, those businesses. And if let's say you finance, ufachele tsepo li memo, tsepo agano ya haurega di Gucci or go Dubai. But what she's gonna do, She's gonna buy food and focus on the family. This is the structure of how we envisage to form the partnership, the relationship. So we all put money together, 50-50 as co-investors, but the money from the government must be risk-free. In other sense, what we're saying is that it comes as a grant or soft loan. It depends on what the department says, and then from there on, ours will come at an interest. Our interest, I think we are cheaper than most of the DFIs, if not all, because we're mostly financing at prime. And if it's female business and the business is quite strong enough, it can even be less than prime, especially if there's property involved. So I think we've got a good story to tell. I repeat this because there is a good story to tell, indeed. So what I can say, we just need to work together, and because the economy needs small businesses for it to I think we can all agree, for employment creation, which year we are number 6. And actually, if, let me say now, when I talk about this, when we started with raising funds with national departments, the first province that came was the Western Cape, and other provinces came, even your Northern Cape, with that 2 billion GDP. They have invested about 80 million since the relationship started in 2021 in Northern Cape. So I see the chair wants to cut me off. Just 2 minutes. But in the province, we also have some relationships with private sectors like your Sun City and Bakubung Platinum Mine. So with the Bakubung, we just empowered 46 businesses. We've paid them money and we've trained them. We've got money with them, and I'm following up the payments processes. And so we are not lying, we're talking reality. If you go to Lieda community, you say, what did the NEF do? They will tell you. So this is the blended finance I've already spoken about. And obviously you will need to come up with an MOU and a TOR and then form a structure. We want to be all held accountable. We don't want to just work. You put up whatever metrics you want us to be monitored on, and then you keep monitoring us. If you give us a template, you say you want reportings in this manner, this is how it's going to be. So these are some of the partners that we have had over the years. Some of the big names, but we are grateful for tourism because Northwest is a tourism area and we're financing quite a lot of businesses. Sorry, due to pressure time, I've got no choice. Thanks very much.
I think the chairman mustn't be too blamed, eh? Because remember, there's a lot of speakers, got a lot of things to say. We got our final online speaker, and then we're going to hand over to my colleague here that's going to do the preliminary sessions and breakaway sessions. So are we online? Thank you.
Good afternoon, and all protocol observed. My name is Melvin Rampedi. I'm the Senior Manager responsible for local economic development in the Dr. KKDM. Can I be heard? Chair, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Chair?
You are audible.
Am I? Okay. Thank you very much if I'm audible. Chair, in essence, our presentation is really to submit an overview of the Dr. KKDM's economic outlook, its situational context in terms of key challenges and our strategic plans and catalytic projects across all 3 local municipalities. As you all know, the Dr. KKDM consists of 3 local municipalities, and we serve nearly around 800,000 residents. We contribute approximately 21% to the Northwest economy, driven mainly by mining, manufacturing, agriculture, while ICT, tourism, and green energy are emerging growth sectors. However, despite this positive progress, poverty remains high at 49%, with unemployment still at 21%. Chair, if you look at that particular chart, it illustrates unemployment trends within the district, and JBMAX has the lowest rate at 13%. While Matlosana and Makwasi Hill remain higher, it reflects an even developmental patterns, reinforcing the need for specially targeted interventions. Those are our GDP contributor per sector, with mining as well as services leading, followed by manufacturing and agriculture. Our key socio-economic challenges, Chair, we face persistent poverty, unemployment, and spatial inequality, particularly affecting youth. Our infrastructure network, in particular water, sanitation, roads, and electricity, are aging and require renewable. Hence, the district has adopted 6 priority areas, with water, sanitation ranking right on top. There is also a need for strong investment attraction, industrialization, diversification, and improved business confidence. We have identified strategic goals and enablers, and to overcome identified challenges, as a district, we are focusing, amongst others, on strengthening governance and fiscal discipline, promoting skills development and digital transformation, expanding SMME and cooperative support, building private partnerships for investment, innovation, and service delivery. For job creation also, what we've identified is that in terms of infrastructure projects, we will be focusing, as I said earlier, on that water, waste management, sanitation, and energy, smart cities working with the Northwest Development Corporation, development of urban projects in Matlosana and JBMAX. In terms of industrialization, support of SMMEs, manufacturing and local productions, skills development and training. We are partnering with a couple of private sector in terms of addressing skills shortages in key industries. Whilst our economy remains driven by mining and services, but our priority growth sectors are agriculture and agro-processing, infrastructure development and renewable energy, manufacturing, tourism, cultural and creative industries, as well as ICT. These sectors offer greatest potential for diversification, job creation, and value chain expansion. Key infrastructure projects that we are working on, whilst in terms of infrastructure, there are about 37 projects that were lifted from DDM catalytic projects, and these 37 projects were across various sectors, water and sanitation challenges, to modernize outdated infrastructure across the district, and they were submitted to Infrastructure South Africa and Treasury for funding. We are also pursuing a waste to energy project in collaboration with COCTA to establish a waste to energy plant with Hitachi in Matlosana to process over 700,000 tons of waste from local, working with neighboring local municipalities. In terms of electricity and energy, we're exploring solar energy plants and alternative sources to improve regional energy security. 2.6 billion worth of projects, about 62 of them have been identified across the 3 municipalities and have been submitted to the Minister of Electricity and Energy, of which part of those 62 projects, 13 of them are to electrify 13 informal settlements that would service around 9,348 households. Others are from, they vary from upgrading to energy efficiency. In terms of roads, we've made an analysis in terms of our roads, RAMs, Rural Roads Assessment Program, and we've identified that as part of the catalytic project that would yield the much needed economic spin-offs is the road infrastructure estimated at about 12 billion in totality to service both upgrading of unpaved road networks, and this is about 1,300 kilometers of unpaved roads, primarily in townships under the JB Max, which constitute about 35%, Matlosana 55%, as well as Makwasi Hills, which would constitute 10% of that. And the cost estimate is about 7.7 billion. The next is within the roads project is the rehabilitation of paved roads. It is to really restore 1.930 a kilometer of deteriorated roads with over 70% classified as poor. And the cost estimate is 4.4 billion. And that's what constitutes the 12 billion that I spoke about earlier. There is also an ongoing effort in terms of the upgrade of the PC Pelsa in Matlosana, enhance the facility and turn it into an airstrip for cargo, and potential investors have been secured. There's also a concerted effort in terms of your public transport, enhancement of public transport infrastructure along key corridors, obviously funded through MIG. In terms of industrialization and manufacturing, Chair, we are in the process of building participation in key sectors like construction, as I've said earlier on, and agro-processing, including establishment of a farmer production support unit, working with the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development. And I will talk more about the FSPU later on. There is also an expansion of Matlosana Fresh Produce Market, which is a multi-year project, estimated about 34 million, and it's running. The project is sitting about 95%, and it is mainly for agro-processing purposes. We are also working on the revitalization of dormant industrial facilities to explore opportunities, and these, amongst others, include your repurposing of your old mining facilities, such as your Itireling Engineering and Textile Hub in Val Reefs. And currently, as we speak, the center currently hosts an state-of-the-art ICT hub, training center, as well as textile, partnering, of course, with the private sector. We are also in the process in terms of directly feeding into our roads project that I've spoken to earlier on. We have done a feasibility study in terms of the establishment of a bricks plant, and a bankable business plan is also ready, so that whatever that we need, the raw material, including the entire value chain, we are able to be able also to participate in terms of the value chain. Chair, in terms of your smart cities initiatives, working, of course, as I've said earlier on, with the Northwest Development Corporation, there are two projects that are being pursued: development of smart cities in Matlosana and JB Max to address post-apartheid spatial challenges. And these projects are worth over $1 billion each, involving public and private stakeholders. Significant job creation and long-term economic spin-offs would be derived from these projects when implemented. In Matlosana, it's residential units, mall, office park. In Ellenshevel, in Klerksdorp. In JB Max, student accommodation, residential units, and Fairhoek development, as well as Dasirand. Chair, in terms of all the projects I've spoken about, I will confine myself to a few infrastructure projects and the status of these key district projects, and I will talk to the water one. There were 12 projects submitted for funding to the value of 3.7 billion. 2 projects were approved for project preparation. In Matlosana, there were 6 projects submitted to the value of 2.1 billion. And local municipality have, of course, refused assistance from ISA in terms of project preparation. In Makwasi Hills, there were 3 projects submitted for 0.7 billion. Funding applications to BFI delayed, but the need to have projects of other local municipalities at detailed design stages and to be packaged as a district program for BFI funding has been an issue that we are tending to. In terms of sanitation, in JB Max, there were 3 projects submitted to the value of 2.6 billion. Projects required project preparation funding assisted to enable them to be at a detailed design stage to qualify for BFI. In Matlosana, there were 3 projects submitted to the value of 2.6 billion. In Makwasi Hills, as I said, there were three projects. In terms of the roads project that I spoke about, the 12 billion, those projects has stalled. ISA has advised the municipality that these projects would only be attended to at a later stage, as priority for now is to fund water and sanitation projects. Now, in terms of LED programs and funding now, moving away from project, there are key initiatives. Just at the district, we are spending about 17.4 million. Matlosana is spending about 2 million. Makwasi Hills is spending about 3 million. The investment, firstly, in terms of, there's about investment of 5.5 million in SMME for cooperatives. These are conditional grants ranging from 30,000 up until 100,000. And of course, Matlosana is contributing 2 million to that, the district 3.5. In terms of job creation, through EPWP and CDPs, we are spending about 8 million of our own money, 2.4 million, as well as 2.4 million for CDPs. I spoke earlier on of the establishment of a farmer production support unit in Makwasi Hills, which is underway. We've already appointed consultants. We are also pursuing the erection of tourism signage in identified areas, and we've put aside 1.7 million for that. In Makwasi Hills, there's an establishment of Vetboer Dam. Feasibility studies have been done, and consultants have been appointed, budgeted at 3 million for this financial year, but we still have a shortfall of about 27 million, is to start erecting perimeter fencing around the Vetboer Dam before we move on to other facilities. Then there is your normal support of SMMEs through your agricultural mechanization, mainly JB Max and Matlosana, and that is funded from operational budget. Tractors and equipment were initially bought by the district. Continuing, there are SMME hubs that are continuing to service SMMEs. A light industrial park also that have been recently opened in JB Max to house about 30 SMMEs. 20 have now been approved. The remaining 10 will then be re-advertised. In total, the light industrial park in the JB Max in Ikageng in particular will house around 30 SMMEs. And we're excited that that particular project is finally taking off. In terms of your trade promotion, we are assisting SMMEs in terms of attending your NAMPO Provincial Agri Show, traveling Daba, and we've set aside about 350,000. For tourism, trade and marketing, we've set around 500,000. Sports, arts and culture initiatives throughout the district, we have budgeted 720,000. For enterprise development, only 300,000 has been put aside. Chair, I would not want to go more, but other slides are really, explanatory notes as to what is a mechanization, what is the concept, what does it talk to, and what it is that we are planning to do, where and how. And thank you very much. In essence, that's basically our presentation from Dr. KK James. Relebohile, thank you very much. Shalom.
Thank you. Thank you, colleagues. I think we're running late, so I'm going to hand over to my colleague to take the matter onto the next part of our program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Program Director. We are done with the day one of our strategic planning session.
Yeah, no, I think I'm just having a feeling that it is important to make a comment, especially on the presentations that were made by the LEDs from municipalities. Especially where we were agreeing that as a department, we have always raised the hand, which is a directive of the Premier that we must start to get closer to municipalities as a department, so that we must not work, we must intensify the section 154 of the Constitution that speaks of us having to support municipalities on their initiatives. And I think where we are agreeing with municipalities that their LED projects that are there that might be funded, or I know municipalities will always adopt unfunded mandates, but they have identified projects. I'm happy that we have already completed the memorandum of understanding with Naledi municipality. We are yet to finalize with Kagisano Molopo. So it then means the district must be at the fore of looking into other projects. Thus, there are a number of feasibility studies that have already been completed by Northwest, and in relation to matters like establishment of programs, but also when we call for proposals that has been by parks and tourism. We have a serious interest in getting the space of the functionality of game reserve, and I think that's where we now have to have in our we want the district to have that space. I'm happy that you are specific and you're talking to projects that we can be able to reach out. We also have our own operations that we think we can as well draw your attention to the functionality at Taung, Skull, and how we want to activate. We actually want to collaborate with the district so that we start to give those projects to the district and find a way to channel the funding, so that it must get our people on the ground. And it is the municipalities that understand the needs better, because in their IDPs they find expression there. I am not sure of, we are troubled as a department, and I'm looking at the CEO of NWDC. Billion. We have a budget, only 1 billion as a department. And a billionaire one fell. But we rely also on mobilization of investments, which I think in terms of the investments we are doing well, but we would want to get aligned. We will have a session with you, Dr. RSM, on the investors that we have already engaged on the targets, which I think we will need your district to come handy, so that as we do profiling of those that will want to do exporting, which I think will not only be one district, but we would want to declare Dr. RSM as a center. On the presentation here, Dr. KK, when it speaks billions, especially where it speaks of mega smart cities and eng. Na batho ba modimo ke setso morago ke di wireless ga ke batle go tsena ko teng ga dilo tse ke sa itseng gore di go kae. I will just want to get into the LED projects. On their LED projects, I think we are doing well with the collaborations that we have with Matlosana. We have already done some work, and we have signed the MOU with Matlosana. We will look into this that they have put on their table, and we are more than willing to share the 15 million that we have. We have 15 million for equipment and the SMME support. Other than that, the collaborations, we have already shared the collaboration of APSA. We have trained about 58 SMMEs in JB Max. We are intending also to give much of our informal traders with those that we have trained. We have also put some of the Dunlop containers in JB Max, and we are also having a profile of the informal traders, Baki, where we think we will be collaborating more with JB Max, but also with the signed MOU with JB Max. We are also looking at the investments. There are a number of private establishments, HEPO, the frustrations that are encountered by the Kholo Industrial Park is a private industrial park. We need to get into that space, give the necessary support. Where there are challenges, we need to give support because we don't want to leave them out with the number of people that are employed and with the capacity that they are demonstrating. It is within the line of the NWDC, but I think a lot of work in intervening there is happening. HOD, we will also come in terms of the business rescue. Also Matlosana, we have just introduced the bank sitter of a project amounting to 4.9 million, which is about training of 153. We have already signed the contracts during our Twinsale Road. So these are some of the work that I think is just for us now to start to close in terms of signing collaboration, so that we must not work independent from each other. Lastly is on the presentation now has HEPO, which I also have always, I think CFO and CEO of Parks and Tourism Board, you need to get closer to HEPO because we will make use of HEPO's interventions when we get to the finalization of our MOU with the land reform, where we want to talk about getting into the space of our CPAs whose land are in the protected areas. How best can we assist them in starting to do commercialization? So if we cannot think as government, we will leave our people behind, and when they start to come out, and in our operation, we must not talk of color or what. The fact of the matter is that the industry needs us. Like you close them out, go Kagisano Molopo. We have done very well in terms of permitting and the export in terms of the lion trade. We have collected almost 19 million in terms of the license that we have, the permits that we have given out just on lion export and the rhino. It is happening in Kagisano Molopo. It is happening in the areas of Tosca, Foster, and our Molopo. So we are, as a department, collaborating with private sector, and we must embrace the work of the industry, and we must listen to them. And the industry of the biodiversity economy, those people are more than willing to incubate our people and to come up with the innovations that speaks to how they then start to intensify this thing, Yaronaya, Kana ke mangele JD e reng ha e buiwa mo provinceng batho be ba lwana thata. The transformation policy, the where we now start to find a way of getting the previously disadvantaged to be in the sector. But people must not be in a hurry because it takes time, it takes skills, it takes incubation, and the industry is more than willing to partner with us. But for now, we are doing well as a province. We are a premier province in terms of wildlife, and that's why the DFFE, we must also appreciate the initiative of coming up with a study of getting a hub in Molopo. So that is what we will unpack with the district. I'm happy that you are here, home girl. At least Motwalo now chair. We must make sure that we package all those things, JD. We take them to Bupirima, and then it will be a center of learning. Others will learn from you. I get when you are here. So we'll give everything to you, and all the district will tap from you. So we must make sure that you get the benefits of being present in the room. Okay, Rampedi, we will talk to you, we'll call you when we have time, and then the rest, I think I am fine. And let's look into the presentations as made. They are so rich, in my view. We are moving in the right direction. It will also enrich our discussions in our different groups. Tebza, ke feditse nna ne ke batlela gore leshalashale tsa di-billionaire tswela mo go tsone kgaitsedi yaka. Please get your own billions that will be able to control in the NWDC. Get the billions that we have already vetted. The investors, we know them. We coming from the embassies. Gore se ka nna le di-spoke stories. Nna batho ba modimo ke lapile ke go nna mo wirelessing. Thank you.
No, thanks, Chair. No, MEC, Mutwako Matlosana must correct the language. There's Northwest Development Corporation and there's Northwest Housing Corp. No te momoyemu. Neke kopa isiamise program. The Matlosana presenter must correct that thing. We are not involved in smart cities. We are not involved in smart cities. If we were to be involved, we'll be involved differently. And we'll do proper planning on how we get involved in smart cities. Yeah, so we are not involved in that one. So you must just correct. I think it's a mistake. It's a not typo, barking. Or it's an old presentation maybe. But we are not involved in that. We are not MEC. We are not.
No, thank you, CEO. I was also concerned. Madiama Kanaka. Thank you, CEO. Thank you, MEC, for that input. Colleagues, we have come to the end of our first day of our strategic planning session. We have had a total of 11 presentations since in the morning. So you can imagine the information that we have now that we are going to use tomorrow in our second and last day. Colleagues, this is how we will roll tomorrow morning. We are going to have a total of 3 commissions. The first commission is IEDS, trade sector, economic planning, and NWDC. That is the first commission. The second commission is business regulation and governance and gambling board. And then the last commission, the third one, is environmental services, tourism, and the Northwest Parks and Tourism Board. So this is how it's going to happen. Tomorrow we don't come to plenary. As and when you enter, you go straight to your commission. And then we are going to deliberate. We all know the terms of reference of these commissions. Information was sent to you via your emails and everything. It was not. Okay. No, we'll deal with it, don't worry. So this is how it's going to happen. Immediately when we come in at 8:30 in the morning, there will be rooms that are designated, this side, and one commission can use this area here. And then we'll be in the commissions from 8:30 up until at least 12 o'clock. And then 12 o'clock, we take the first commission that will be reporting. And then after that, we take a second commission that will be reporting. Then we break for lunch. After lunch, we take the last commission. I'm also mindful of the fact that there were so many people who wanted to engage during the engagement session. And we did not do justice to that. So what is going to happen is that all your views, your questions, your clarity-seeking questions and comments, please hold them. We will then incorporate them into the report back session on commissions. That's where you can articulate whatever that you wanted to articulate. The terms of reference tomorrow for commissions, we are going to align the APP, the corporate plan, and the operational plans for 2026-2027. And these are the points to note. Situational analysis, SWOT analysis, output indicators, which is your APP, your annual and quarterly targets, your technical indicator descriptions, your TIDs, your strategic risk, as well as the district development model. Those are the terms of reference for all our commissions. Our colleagues who are in program 1, which is administration, you would then choose which commission you are going to attend tomorrow. And who is administration? You might be in administration from DEDECT, you might be in administration from an entity. You then decide which commission you are going to attend. But all in all, we've got 3 commissions that deals mainly with service delivery. We don't want to waste time on issues of admin. We'll discuss them at another level. We want to deal with this thing of service delivery because we want to deal with the question of unemployment and economic growth in the province. I think that is that in terms of day 1, colleagues, and the marching orders are clear in terms of what is expected of us tomorrow in the morning. Remember, there is no plenary. You come in, you identify your commission, you get into the commission. In the commission must decide who is the chairperson of the commission and who is the scriber. The scriber is the same person who's going to report when we come this side. So HOD, MEC, I think we are done for day 1, unless there's something that I've left out. Okay, thank you very much.